Everything in Brad Pitt's life was in freefall when Angelina Jolie filed for divorce. He wasn't just a Hollywood A-lister suffering a reputation crisis, he was a father who risked being deprived of the right to see his kids. And Brad knew that it was his own fault. To mend it all, he had to completely change his life and get rid of his bad habits. Pitt had been struggling with addictions for decades. I can't remember a day since I got out of college when I wasn't boozing or had a spliff or something. At some point, Brad realized why he was using all these pacifiers.
I was running to things to avoid tough feelings, painful feelings. I just didn't know how to deal with them. And I mean, that can be anything. That can be drugs, booze, Netflix, snacks.
Brad had a lot to deal with when he was younger. He was forced to work odd jobs for years as he struggled to find his place in Hollywood. And even when he became famous at 28, the problems only got worse. Dealing with all the expectations and judgment was hard for Brad. Every single step he made was scrutinized by the press. It got to the point where Brad couldn't tell his own feelings from those impressed upon him by others. Brad once shared that he'd spent the 90s hiding out, feeling pathetic and being sick of himself. It became very clear to me that I was intent on trying to find a movie about an interesting life, but I wasn't living an interesting life myself. Even his marriage to Jennifer Aniston was part of the problem. While they were one of Hollywood's favorite couples, it seemed to Brad that all he did was pretend. He never shared what exact problems he had in the relationship, but he reportedly made peace with Aniston only after getting sober. When Brad started a family with Angelina Jolie, he managed to get rid of most of his addictions, except for drinking. For a while, it looked like it didn't affect his happy family with 6 children, and after dating for almost a decade, Brad and Angelina married in 2014. Fans hoped that tying the knot would only make their relationship stronger, but it turned out that things weren't as good as they seemed. I could drink a Russian under the table with his own vodka. I was a professional. I was good. Brangelina's marriage lasted only 2 years. Their marital problems culminated in a heated argument on board their private jet. An inebriated Brad quarreled with his 15-year-old son Madox, who tried to protect Angelina from his father. Pitt could barely control his anger and reportedly attacked the young man. This altercation basically put an end to Brad's marriage. For Angelina, it was the last straw, and she filed for divorce just 5 days later. Seeing even the slightest danger in having Pitt around forced her to leave him for good. Jolie even accused the actor of hurting Madox. However, Brad insisted that, although he yelled at his son, he never put a hand on him. Pitt was cleared of all accusations, but Madox still held a grudge against him. When the boy came of age, he even testified against his father in court. The sudden divorce was like a smack in the face for Brad. He lost everyone he loved because of his addiction. He couldn't face staying in his house alone without his family, so he stayed at a friend's house and slept on the floor for a month and a half. But this tough period became a wake-up call for the actor. Brad had to look at his weaknesses and failures and own them.
I don't want to, at this point, to be running from anything. I want to sit in it, I want to feel it, I want to get through the rough night.
To finally solve his issue once and for all, the actor attended AA meetings for 1.5 years. Since the journey to sobriety was difficult for Brad, being in a safe space helped him. There was little judgment, and therefore little judgment of yourself. His AA group consisted entirely of men, and Pitt was moved by their openness. Astonishingly, none of them sold the actor's stories to the tabloids. He said that it felt liberating to expose the ugly sides of himself in that kind of atmosphere.
You know, you get older and you just get tired of protecting yourself or having any secrets. You know, you just want to get on with it.
Brad's next goal is to be there for his kids and become the best father he can be. But since Angelina still has full custody over them, he can't see them as often as he'd like. Among all his kids, Brad is pretty close only with Shiloh. But he's working hard to restore his family's trust, and it looks like he has a chance.
We are a family, and we will always be a family, and we will get through this time and hopefully be a stronger family for it.
Even Madox isn't completely against restoring the relationship with his father.
Is your relationship with him sort of over, or?
Well, whatever happens, happens.
Whatever mistakes Brad has made in his life, he says that he doesn't regret them, because all of them, along with all of the good things he's done, have shaped his personality. And now, when he's finally free of his addictions, he can start anew. After all, it's never too late to start again.